Call on Senator Murkowski for any opening remarks she'd like to make.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate you scheduling the hearing. Your focus on this as an issue. Welcome to the witnesses. Thank you for being here. I think one of the good things about this committee is the quality of feedback that we receive here, the role that it plays in informing our decision making. And some of the issues that we consider are, of course, pretty complicated. They require considerable thought. A clean energy standard, the subject of this morning, is certainly one of those. You've noted the President's role in proposing a CES when he mentioned this in his State of the Union address back in January of 2011. And at that time, I joined the chairman in releasing a white paper asking for feedback on it. And I was really very impressed and appreciative with the responses we received, how adept the stakeholders were at exploring the very specific challenges and opportunities associated with what was a pretty general proposal. From threshold questions of what resources should count as clean to who should be regulated under a CES, we received a great deal of information, and I truly thank those who participated in that effort and the information that they provided to us. There was a lot of inquiry, work, and patience, and I think the chairman has clearly benefited from that in getting to this point with a bill now written, introduced, analyzed. And while some are fully convinced a federal CES is the way to go, there are quite a few others that disagree with that approach. To me, the biggest question, and the one that I hope we'll have an opportunity to talk about this morning, is whether the American people really want a CES, whether it's appropriate in light of what states are already doing. Now, Mr. Chairman, you've mentioned that there have been those that in the past have suggested that incorporating a clean energy standard, one that expands beyond the renewable energy, is something that others on both sides of the aisle have mentioned and have encouraged. I acknowledge that I have been one that says we need to look broader. But I ultimately decided not to co-sponsor the bill for a couple different reasons. The responses to the white paper, well, again, very detailed in their analysis and consideration, clearly lacked sufficient consensus. I think there's reasonable disagreement about whether or not this type of mandate is appropriate at the federal level. And there's some other things, other events. First and foremost, we've been reminded of the importance of affordable energy. Most of the focus lately has been on gasoline prices, but electricity costs are also going up. And bringing energy prices down, I think, should be our objective, not driving them up today or in the future, as some analysis have projected that a CES would do. And I recognize that affordability is not the only goal. We all want to have cleaner energy sources. Federal mandates, though, are just one of the tools at our disposal, and as it turns out, I think we recognize that they can be pretty blunt instruments. In the energy space in particular, federal mandates make it difficult to account for regional differences, consumer preferences, and international competitiveness. Hanging over all of this is our more recent experience in healthcare, which shows just how unpopular mandates can be. And what we should remember is that we're not necessarily limited to one policy or one option for addressing our energy challenges. My preference would be to increase funding for energy innovation with the revenues that we generate from increased domestic production of oil, gas, coal, other resources. If we plan ahead, we could develop a long-term policy that allows those resources to work themselves out of a job by paying for the commercialization of newer, cleaner alternatives. And in the meantime, we protect families, businesses from added costs and burdens. Finally, I don't think we can have an honest conversation about new energy policies without acknowledging, evaluating, and accounting for the slew of new stringent regulations that are being imposed under existing statutes. I think we need to really critically assess this habit that we seem to have of piling one policy on top of another. We need to kind of sort through all that so that it's clear where the priorities are. Mr. Chairman, I am happy to be here this morning. I hope the conversation is merely a small part of a much larger one about our nation's energy goals and the most appropriate tools for achieving them.